Welcome to the Movie Take Podcast, starring Zach Mansberry.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Movie Take Podcast. Today I'm lucky enough to be joined by another huge movie fan and pro reviewer on Letterboxd, Jaron Lamer. How are you, Jaron?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Just sitting here completely astounded by the fact that on Letterboxd it says you've already watched 109 movies this year.
I'm as astounded as you are. I honestly thought you were lying when you said that. But yeah, I guess it's true.
I guess time flies, right?
Yeah, and I have no life, so I just watch movies all the time.
No life. Still a college student though, right?
Yeah.
And I bet the professors aren't incredibly happy that you have enough time to do that.
I mean, my grades are they're hanging in there, you know?
That's all that matters. That's
yeah.
Good. As long as you can champion good grades and your love of movies, I guess it'll work out.
Exactly.
But really, that is a milestone. What was your number from just 2018 alone?
2018 theatrical releases. Movies that released in theaters and on Netflix and Hulu in 2018 were 218 movies. And then that doesn't include like rewatches and stuff. I don't even know how many I've watched.
Have you reviewed all of them on Letterboxd?
A good amount. I don't think all of them. This year, I one of my New Year's resolutions was to try and review every movie that I saw, but I'm not doing too well.
Yeah, some of them are just not worth it.
Exactly.
There's some that are just too bad.
Yep.
But I did see one of the more recent ones that you reviewed. I enjoyed just reading a little bit of the review in passing because I think it really showed your sense of humor in it. For Penguins, whenever you said, just for the beginning here, ladies, get you a man like Steve the Penguin.
Dude, that movie was amazing. I'm not one of the best movies of 2018 or 2019. Like 100%. Go check it out if you haven't. The new Disney nature documentary. It's so good.
I have not seen that one yet, but I can assure you have me curious about it now.
No, it's good. You really root for the main character.
I assume that's Steve?
Yes.
That's good to hear. And then a couple of your favorite films. I've seen actually just two of them here on the website of Back to the Future. Mm-hmm. That's a classic. It doesn't get better than that. But then 12 Angry Men, another classic that we were actually forced to watch in civics freshman year. Which was...
It was
a strange time to be forced to watch a movie. But it is definitely a good one, shockingly enough. And Lord of the Rings, which is a series that I desperately need to get myself into.
You gotta. They're epic. Like, nothing comes close. I know we're going to talk about Endgame. That comes pretty close, but I don't think it reaches the epic.
Not quite there.
So, yeah.
I see. Then Before Sunset is one that I actually haven't heard about that one.
That one is a Richard Linklater. It's the second movie in a Richard Linklater trilogy. I don't know if you've heard of Linklater, Boyhood, and he did... What else did he do? But the Before trilogy is like what he's most famous for, I think. And they're just like... It's literally just Ethan Hawke and Julia Delpy just walking and talking through European cities. And it'll emotionally wreck you, I think. All three of them. They all were filmed 9 years apart, and they all take place 9 years apart, and they're really good.
Huh. That is definitely a cool little premise for a movie, and not one that is commonly used, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's a little different from the vibe of the Back to the Future and Lord of the Rings series there, but...
Yeah, I like to give a little variety.
That's good. That's good to see in a critic, especially.
Right.
And let's see some of the popular reviews of yours. I didn't know that was a section on Letterboxd, but now as I scroll through it, Phantom Thread. That's one that I didn't get to check out. What did you think of it?
I think it was so popular because I don't want to say that it was like, yeah. Anyway, I think it was so popular because it was so divisive. Everybody loved that movie, and I could not find what people enjoyed about it. I thought people were talking about, it was Daniel Day-Lewis's last film before retirement, and they're talking about how it's like one of his best roles. I've seen him in much better. I think it was the writing of the character. I just and I didn't care about him at all, and I don't know, nothing really happened in the movie. And I know a lot of like film critics like to be pretentious and say, things don't need to happen, but then like, why make the movie? I don't know. It was just a weird film, and I think I said that in the review, but that's why it was most popular.
Are you a Daniel Day-Lewis fan otherwise?
Oh, heck yeah. Lincoln is his best role, I think. People say There Will Be Blood, but I think Lincoln. I love There Will Be Blood, and I think those two are his best. Gangs of New York is really good, too. But yeah, I like Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm sad to see him retire on such a boring note.
I am definitely one that champions There Will Be Blood, because that's just one of my favorite all-around movies, simply because of the amazing direction in it, and the performance that he brings is just honestly haunting.
Yeah.
And then another...
if you like the direction, it's directed by the same guy. Phantom Thread is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, so, I mean, maybe you'll like it, but...
I think Paul Thomas Anderson tends to be kind of great or terrible in that sense.
Yeah. My professor was telling me that it's his favorite filmmaker. We were in my film production class, and he was trying to, convince me of why he's his favorite filmmaker. And I love Boogie Nights. That's like the best film that I've seen him do. But other than that, Magnolia is weird. What Punch Drunk Love is weird too. I don't know. I understand like he's an artist, but I wouldn't consider him one of my favorites. I think what he does is really good, but not one of my.
Just sometimes a little too artsy.
Yeah.
And for Daniel Day-Lewis, do you think that he's actually going to be retired now?
I think so.
He's one that I actually believe.
Yeah, he strikes me as he's definitely done.
I mean, I think he's going to go back to, shoe cobbling? Which is, I believe I've read that's his thing. Outside of movies, he's a shoe cobbler. And it's a heck of a career.
Yeah, right?
It's just, in his free time, he just wins Academy Awards, that's all. And then another review on here that I'm incredibly interested in now of the movie After.
Oh my God.
Third walkout of 2019. Do you often walk out of movies?
I've started to count my walkouts because I see so many that I'm like, okay, why am I wasting my time on this? And some of the ones that I watch at home, I'll turn off, but I don't really keep track of that. But yeah, I've walked out of Medea's Family Funeral, walked out of The Beach Bum, and I've walked out of After.
Ooh.
After just made me angry. Like it wasn't super bad, but it just made me insanely angry.
Just not one that you really wanted to stick around for.
No.
All right, that's fair. That's definitely fair. It's not one that I really even looked into, to be honest.
Yeah, I just put myself through some crap sometimes.
It does look like, overall, you seem to be the type of critic that is really willing to put expectations at the door.
Oh, heck yeah. Like, well, unless it comes with big expectations, like a movie like Endgame. But if critics are telling me that it's bad, I won't necessarily not see it. I'll check it out for myself and determine if it's bad. Usually it's bad, but sometimes it's not. So
now it kind of brings me to my curiosity of wondering, what is the worst movie that you've seen that all the critics said was great?
I'm trying to think recent. Because, I mean, Phantom Thread is up there. I didn't think it was garbage, so never mind. Oh, man. Let me think. Oh, I have one.
Ooh.
2017, in the summer, they released Girls Trip with Tiffany Haddish and Queen Latifah and a bunch of people. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it. There was nothing funny about it. I did not laugh once. And everybody was telling me how it was amazing and how it was better than Rough Night, which came out the month before, which had Scarlett Johansson and who else was in that one? A bunch of other actors. The chick from Kay McKinnon from SNL. They were all in that. And then it was about a bachelorette party. And then this one, a month later, critics hated that one, and then this one a month later, Girls Trip, they said this is what Rough Night, could have been, and I'm like, what? It's like equally as bad, if not worse. I don't understand. I don't know.
That's definitely one that I saw a lot more acclaim for than I expected, I guess. But
yeah.
Those were definitely two very similar movies.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Just in that one.
Yeah. Then, along with all of that, I'm curious now, just still sitting here staring at Back to the Future and Lord of the Rings, I've got to ask if you love Star Wars like I do.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah.
Good. That's what I love to hear.
I love all Star Wars except The Last Jedi.
Wait. You mean to tell me you like the prequels, but not The Last Jedi?
I am a prequel apologist. I will.
Oh no!
Yes, I understand. I understand the problems with them, but it doesn't. It adds to the franchise more than it detracts, I think. And The Last Jedi detracts. That's why I don't like The Last Jedi.
I do think they're kind of trying to spin the next one, The Rise of Skywalker. It looks like they're trying to spin it to kind of erase The Last Jedi.
We'll see how I feel about The Last Jedi after Rise of Skywalker fully comes out, I think. But I'll tell you this: whenever Force Awakens came out, it was my favorite Star Wars movie. I loved the meeting of old and new, and I didn't mind that it was a New Hope rehash. It kind of was, but I kind of enjoyed that, and I loved all the new characters. And then Last Jedi came out, and it's trash. I hate The Last Jedi so much. And yeah, I love the prequels. The Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie.
I am going to have to marinate on that for a second. Right after I get done talking about the fact that whenever The Force Awakens actually first came out, I remember I got home from school that day and put it up on the TV through the YouTube app and stuff. And I started watching it, and my brother sat here and he watched a little bit of it with me, and then he just went away for a little bit, and then he came back in probably, 30, 40 minutes later, and he saw the trailer on the screen again, and he said, "You're actually watching this again right now?" And I said, "I haven't stopped." I said, "I have just replayed it over and over and over again the entire time." And he was like ashamed of me at the time, but I just loved it. I was just so incredibly excited to have Star Wars again.
Heck yeah. That was the biggest, the most anticipated I'd ever been for a movie at that point, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I remember the premiere and just being, like, near in tears because, my childhood was back and it was amazing.
It was so great. Although, the prequels are not good. I'm still processing that Revenge of the Sith is your favorite Star Wars movie. I will admit, it's the best of the prequels.
Yeah.
But it is no better than any other Star Wars movie other than those two.
I would rank Rogue One and The Last Jedi at the bottom of the list. But right above that is 1 and 2. And I understand, like, those are the worst, but, like, those are the worst ones, like, in the original 6. I want to call them the original 6, because like they were original for me growing up. But I think Rogue One I hated. I didn't hate. I just didn't like. And then Last Jedi I hated. But I never hated 1 and 2.
I am mind boggled here, but I will say, the third one, Revenge of the Sith, that was a good movie.
That one is so emotional. Hayden Christensen can't act, and the writing is garbage, but that one's really emotional. The fight between him and Obi-Wan is like epic proportions, and the fall of Darth Vader is freaking insane. I'm a fan.
It was a fantastic fight in Revenge of the Sith, and that was my favorite part about it. Because whenever I was little, I still remember watching that on VHS tapes.
Yeah, when they like what's the word I'm looking for? Like randomly throw their lightsabers around for like no reason, like not even fighting.
It's so exciting. Yeah,
looks man.
But that's why it was made, and that's kind of my problem with it, was that we took Star Wars from being this great exploration of a brand new universe and all of these wild stories, and then we turned it into, well, it looks cool.
Yeah, I think it still. I think it still does world building. I agree that the CGI, especially in 1 and 2, do not hold up. Today's standards, and the practical effects. Most of the practical effects in the original do hold up.
Which is a testament to the time, really.
Exactly, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just enjoy them. I think they add to the world building.
That's interesting. I think there was definitely an attempt by George Lucas to add to the world building, like you said, but
it's always his plan to make those. That's a lie.
He also added Jar Jar Binks, and that is something unforgivable.
I can agree with you on that.
And I'll say the first one, The Phantom Menace, I think is one of my, probably if I had a list of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen, that might be number 1. Just because, I could not believe it. The only good part of that, and
Duel of the Fates.
Two good things about it. Actually, I'll say 3 good things about it.
Okay.
Duel of the Fates, Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah.
And I have no idea how, but I will say Liam Neeson was one of the best parts of that movie. And I never thought I'd say that about Liam Neeson in most movies other than Taken.
I love that Qui-Gon lived on in the Clone Wars. I don't know if you ever watched the Clone Wars.
I watched a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that he made a reappearance as a Force ghost. He died too soon. I would love to see more of him.
I will say that. Yeah. I think there was a lot more to that character.
Yeah.
But I can tell you there was absolutely nothing more than we didn't see in the prequels from Natalie Portman. That was a really bad character.
Bad character. I love Natalie Portman. She's a really good actress, but she did what she could with the writing.
I don't know that she did. That's one of my bigger problems. I think the script was awful, but I also think she was really bad in the movie. The whole Annie, you're breaking my heart scene is one of the worst.
That's what you have. That's the example you give. I think that's one of the. I don't know. That's like one of the scenes where I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess a lot of the fault in that one is definitely on Hayden Christensen. But but that is just,
dude. Oof. He's a farmer now. I know that he owns a farm in like Canada or something, and like I'm glad he wants to stick to that because he's not good at the acting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him because like after that movie came out, people were ruthless to him. Same with the guy that played Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah,
that one is almost more deserved, but still not for the guy.
Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but yeah.
Like, I feel like at least, and it does not excuse it, but at least the Jar Jar Binks and Anakin Skywalker hate was because the character was just bad.
Yeah.
But the Kelly Marie Tran stuff, it wasn't even inspired by the character being bad. It was just hatred.
It's hate, yeah.
And there was no reason for that. Because I do think she did a good job in the movie.
She did a good job.
I think the character sucked.
The character didn't add much. But, I mean, she didn't deserve hate.
Yeah, I mean, none of it falls on her. Like,
right, exactly.
Like, she gave a solid enough performance.
Yeah.
I just resented... Honestly, that was my biggest problem with The Last Jedi, was that whole story arc with John Boyega, with Finn and her.
The casino thing, yeah.
It felt like a weird attempt at trying to be almost political in Star Wars, which I feel like the politics of Star Wars is interesting until you try and make it reflect the real world.
Yeah.
It suddenly becomes boring.
Yeah, it was just weird. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Because, like, that whole storyline ends with Poe, killing Captain Phasma very anticlimactically.
Incredibly.
And so, I don't know if, like, the original cut was longer and there was more that was fleshed out, but, like, I don't know what the frick they were thinking.
Yeah.
I hate that movie.
There could have been a lot more, I guess, anything interesting there. Honestly, they could have just cut all of that out. I would have been fine with it. If Finn just woke up at the end of the movie, it would have been better use to the character.
Yeah.
But, yeah. At least it looks like for The Rise of Skywalker, we're actually going to get to see the gang together. And I think that's what The Last Jedi missed.
Sure. Yeah.
If only we had Luke. But...
Exactly. And that's another thing I hate about The Last Jedi. I hate what they did with Luke's character. But I will say I am excited for Rise of Skywalker. I don't think all hope is lost. I loved Solo. I thought Solo was one of the best Star Wars movies of all time.
That's another one I'm going to disagree strongly with. But
I had so much fun with Solo, and I don't think all hope is lost.
I'm
excited for the Rise of Skywalker.
I think Lando was awesome in Solo, and that is all. I just couldn't get on board with anything else.
What did you think of Alden Ehrenreich?
I think he did okay with what they gave him.
I thought he perfectly captured, like, as much as you can get Harrison Ford young. I thought he did that. He wasn't doing a Harrison Ford impression. He was just, like, capturing the essence of Han Solo, and I think he did it really, really, really well. I was very impressed with him. I was very impressed with that movie. I really enjoyed it.
For what they gave him and what he could do, I think he probably smashed it out of the park. I just don't know that I was open to seeing somebody try to take on that character younger.
Sure. Yeah, I know a lot of people had issues with that. Yeah, I was too. I was skeptical, but I mean, I don't know. I still really enjoyed it.
And I feel like that's a story that he is a more interesting character without the explanation. Yeah.
Oh, I can agree with that. We didn't need to see, where he got his name from. That was stupid. Yeah. We didn't need to see, they were throwing in the gold dice that were hanging in the Millennium Falcon for no reason. Whatever. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that was just a cool thing that people point out. It doesn't actually matter.
Exactly. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't think Star Wars is all lost. I am excited for the future. But we're not getting a solo trilogy like we were supposed to now, because nobody liked it, or nobody went to go see it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they still made money, at least, but...
Yeah, they made their budget back, I think.
Which, I mean, not really their goal, but...
Right. Yeah.
Given the situation, I'd say that is probably the best that it should have done.
Yeah.
I really liked Rogue One, though. I think that was a spin-off that I think was just very well done.
I didn't.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming.
I really didn't. I mean, yeah, I liked some of the aspects, like all movies have good aspects, but as a whole, I just didn't care about the characters, and I thought they could have, I don't know, it's a really cool story, based on one line in Star Wars 4, right? The original Star Wars.
Yeah, when they mentioned that,
yeah.
I think it's in that one. Oh,
yeah. The Or yeah, but like I just thought it was a really cool premise, and I would have liked to see something better out of it. But
I'll admit I cried in that movie. It had me by the end.
All right.
I was attached. But since we obviously cannot find a middle ground on Star Wars here other than saying that Revenge of the Sith is pretty good.
And we love the original trilogy.
Yeah, okay, there we go. That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I love that. And
even Return of the Jedi is amazing. Yeah, they're all...
To me, whenever I was younger, I always thought Return of the Jedi was my favorite.
The best one?
Now, as I've grown a little bit and kind of looked into more of the darker themes, I guess, of Empire, I think that one might edge it out, but...
Yeah, Empire. I would say Empire's second favorite behind Revenge of the Sith, so...
I'm a sucker for the darker ending to it, and that got me.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, but since there, I guess, is our middle ground, let's go something else to get some opinions on, with obviously Avengers Endgame being a very, very major landmark here now in the box office and all over the internet, including spoilers, tweets about not making spoilers, and tweets of fake spoilers, since it is just dominating everything.
Yeah.
So, overall, I gotta ask, what did you think of the movie?
Yeah. So, I mean, I love the MCU. I think it's the greatest franchise, even over Star Wars, even over, Harry Potter is one of my favorites. I think it's the best franchise of all time just because of what they've done with 22 movies is just a huge accomplishment. And to see this, come and end in this huge culmination of, I guess, this first era of the MCU, because they're obviously going to do more.
A lot of money to be made, yeah.
I just think it was perfect. You know what I mean? Like, every movie has flaws, and I've, thought so much about Endgame since seeing it, and, you can pick out flaws, but I just think as a fan, as a super fan of movies in general, it was just amazing. But, yeah, I've seen it twice now, and the first time I saw it, I was super, super nervous. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was like, this is my Super Bowl, you know what I mean? Like, as a lot of people were. And, I came out of it ready to say that it was the best movie I'd ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, just, there's so many cool things happening. After the second time, I definitely felt that 3 hours a little bit more. And, the cool factor of everything, all the really cool parts, wore off. And you focus on the time travel aspect of things, and time travel is always messy in movies. So I came out of that one still ecstatic, but rather than giving it a solid 10 out of 10, I was like, okay, we'll give it a solid 9.5 out of 10. And we'll call it there. But
so nobody can call you out and say, oh, but what about this little thing?
Exactly. Yeah, but really, really, really good movie. One of my favorites.
I agree very much. And I actually still need to write my review for that. Oh, no.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah. I just, what else is there to say? People are just saying it all. And, the hashtag Thank You Avengers thing on Twitter that was trending, I wanted to tweet something, but everybody was already saying everything that I felt, and I was just retweeting everybody because, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Thank you Marvel, thank you Kevin Feige. It was just amazing. So
I had one of my tweets actually was completely one of those stereotypical tweets after the fact of just thank you at Marvel and thank you at the Russo brothers.
Yeah,
because that summed it up. I didn't know what else to say after that.
Going into Infinity War, I was very, very scared that the Russo brothers couldn't handle, that many plot threads, that many characters just all converging. But coming out of Infinity War, I was like, okay, you guys can do whatever you want. I was
just give them the keys.
Do what you want with Endgame. But
I thought I actually got really nervous for Endgame, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whenever I saw the 3-hour runtime and just thought about the fact that the Russo brothers have been on for a couple movies already, and they had been there for what all? We had Civil War,
Yep.
then Infinity War, and now going into Endgame, I started to think like, maybe somebody should step in. Maybe we should pass it off.
Yeah.
Just because we've seen before with different properties that if you keep the same person on for too long, they will go downhill.
George Lucas.
Yes. Exactly. I mean, it's just because after a certain point, power gets to their head. Everybody gets comfortable, and it's not so much a new thing as far as just recycling, and I feel like you always just want to have fresh ideas around. And I was afraid that they would stop having fresh ideas, I guess.
Yeah, they've had the same writers too. I mean, that's definitely a fear.
Yeah.
Running out
Absolutely.
Running out of ideas, but I think they nailed it. I think they're fans of, comics in general, and that's how we ended up.
That's incredibly important, yeah.
Yes, for sure. After watching the first Thor, I think it was, that's when I started reading comics, and I was like, the movies are what did it for me, but like you have to be a comic fan to like flesh out those characters appropriately. But yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, I think they've made it very clear that they are just fans.
Yeah, 100%.
So now, I guess, since the only way to do this properly, because you can't really review it without going into any spoilers.
Yeah.
That, I guess I'm just going to try and declare at this point that this is just going to be a spoiler warning, and I'm going to probably put below
the world that haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, for the 3 that got their tickets for tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just going to say spoiler alert now, and then I'm just going to put time codes down below this, and just acknowledge those, and then hopefully anybody that does want to skip that will come back and talk to us again whenever we're done with the spoilers. But all right, there's been enough of a warning at this point because I ramble on. But let's talk, of course, right out of the gate with whenever we get our nice little introduction with Ronan. What did you think of, I guess, that very emotional scene for Hawkeye of seeing just turning and dust?
I mean, I want to talk about, like, just this little, like, quick story. While we were waiting for, like, we saw one trailer in our showing, and we were waiting for, the next trailer, but the lights completely dropped, and then we saw Jeremy Renner, and my whole theater would not shut up because they were like, oh my god, it's starting. You know what I mean? Because we only saw one trailer after the showtime started, and then out of nowhere it started, and people were like, ah, like screaming and clapping. I was like, shut up, the movie's on. You know what I mean? But I think that was like widely expected to be the opening scene. You know what I mean? Like introducing Hawkeye, who we haven't seen in a while, and showing us where he's at. And it was just rough, brutal.
I was ready to put money down that it was going to start in space with Tony.
Really?
I was so ready to just declare that was... Oh, man, I'm doing a lot of declaring today, but... Go ahead.
Yeah, it did. I mean, besides, that first opening pop, but yeah, I just... I think Jeremy Renner really shined in this movie, too.
He did.
He did very well. Hawkeye's been... kind of put on the back burner, like in Avengers 1 he's been, what was he, like Loki messed with his mind. 2 he played babysitter with the twins, and then he wasn't in Infinity War, and then so this is really where he got to shine. And I hope we see a that Disney Plus TV show that's been talked about with him training his daughter to be the next Hawkeye. And a little hint of that in the first scene. So,
and I'd say the one quote that I think holds incredibly true for the character of Hawkeye is still just in Age of Ultron, actually, which is not the best.
Sure.
But whenever he actually turns to, I believe it was Scarlet witch there. And he just says, like, I'm a guy with a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's so true for the character, the circumstances that he finds himself in, and honestly, just a lot of the movie. But I still love that for him.
Yeah.
He pulled off the line and just acknowledged what everybody thought after the first Avengers.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a great character. I mean, we can talk more about him in like one of the later scenes. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but really good job on his part.
Absolutely. And then not long after that, we get Iron Man making his return, and I'm not even going to lie to you. Whenever he got on the ground and hugged Pepper,
oh yeah,
I teared up.
First year, yeah.
That was like the first time of the movie that it started to get me.
Yeah.
Just because that I've been with this character so long, it hurt whenever he was gone.
Yeah.
And I'm just a sucker for like people coming back together like that. Like,
no, yeah, for sure.
That just it ruined me. But
got on the ground, I would have loved more of a reunion with Cap, because they've been fighting for so long, you know what I mean? But I think we got that later in the movie when they, go on that mission together. Yeah. But when he initially dropped that whole period, like between when he lands and then when he rips the reactor off the chest, and or I guess it's his suit, and then he faints or whatever. I think that's like some of the best acting I've ever seen from Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean? Really, a lot of the times, like, you'll forget, that he's not just Iron Man. He's like an actor. Like, he's a real actor, and he did a really good job in those scenes, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. He really did do a great job in there. But then, man, there's a heck of a transition for him then after that, with just kind of being mean. That was shocking to me, honestly. I expected a little more love, but
yeah, but like that's like what the first time he's failed, and everybody dealt with it differently, and
for his character, I guess I kind of did expect that kind of reaction, just because more so his ego wasn't ready for that.
Exactly. Yep.
So it was shocking to everybody else too, but he took it the hardest.
Yeah. Exactly.
And what did you think of Captain Marvel being the one that brought him home?
So, I have issues with Captain Marvel in this movie, because, she kind of, I don't know if they were waiting to see if her movie had done better in theaters or something before they filmed her entirely in this movie, but she's not in the movie much, and, the post-credit scene when she comes down, we don't really get the sense that they all know each other, and we just gotta assume that she knew like where to find him in deep space, and we've got to assume that, I don't know, she trusts these people just because Nick Fury trusts them. I don't know. It like had to happen because there's no other way to get them down to space, but like, yeah.
I think there's a lot wrong with that, kind of a lot of just gaps in logic about how she was so conveniently there,
right? About
how she would have known of them without having been on Earth for so long. Just a lot of problems like that.
Yeah.
But honestly, my prediction there was just kind of hoping, actually, that Rocket would have been the one to say, like, oh, let's just go out into space and get him.
Rocket is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I freaking love Bradley Cooper's voice acting. He's so good.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the best Rocket scenes to me is still just whenever he and Bucky were mowing people down in Infinity War.
I'm gonna get that arm.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a less than stellar way for them to get back. But to be honest, by the end of the movie, I completely forgot about it. So
like I'm saying,
didn't matter.
Problems you can pick out, but like as a whole, it's just there are too many good moments.
Yeah.
But
and then after that, that right around there was, we got our time jump, and at some point shortly after that, And, well, no, before the time jump, we still took out Thanos in there.
Yeah.
That like, was fantastic.
Insanely quick.
Yeah.
Like
I was in shock, honestly.
Yeah, 20 minutes into the movie and he's decapitated or something.
Yeah, people were making their predictions for how Thanos was going to die at the end. Nobody was sitting around saying, I think about 15 minutes in, that's going to be
Yep.
It's going to be the end of him.
That's going to be it. Yeah, I didn't think that so much time was going to be devoted to just, bringing people back, but I'm glad it was.
Yeah.
They make quick work of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that was a good scene for getting the feeling of where Thor was.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Just where he was standing emotionally at that point.
And he blames himself.
Very broken. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that made it very clear that he had been struggling with everything that had happened. And I like that for his character because he doesn't usually show that much emotion, with exception to little scenes like talking about how he's alone and how his mother is gone and things like that. And we got more of that in this.
I think he has it in a while because, like, in the first Thor, he was very quick to get angry. And I love the character arcs of every character, you know what I mean? Where, like, in the first Thor, he's quick to, go to war and beat people up. But, like, he hasn't shown that side of him in a while. But I just like that it harkens back to, that kid he used to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, honestly, Thor has gone through such a transformation in 3 movies now, through these ones too. But
yeah,
I think it was for the best for him. Taika Waititi definitely did a great job in Ragnarok too.
My gosh, I got a beast. Yeah, Ragnarok will be one of my favorites till the end of time. That's
just a great comedic shift that was kind of necessary for a character that's that ridiculous.
That ridiculous, exactly. Yep.
And then let's see. After we get that little bit from Thor, then we hit our time jump.
Yeah.
And then we get to see where everybody is at that point, and one of them obviously being Ant-Man, which I think that, again, it was a very weird thing for them to explain how he got out with a rat.
Yeah.
Not great. But
yeah.
But I mean, I was fine with it again, just because how else do you explain it?
Yeah.
And it's Disney; they had to sneak a mouse in there somewhere, so I guess that was their opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it was very Deus Ex Machina, but
yeah,
absolutely.
But then he came in pretty clutch, and then we get our introductions with all the other characters again. Like, I mean,
I'll tell you something about Ant-Man. The next really emotional scene was with him and his daughter. Like,
oh my gosh,
that was the time I teared up. That was really, really good job from Paul Rudd too. Just emotional.
And I feel like they needed him there with dealing with that situation, finding out that it had been 5 years.
Yeah,
because that was just very important for, I guess, explaining the quantum realm then of it's just been a couple hours for him, but how it's been that much longer for everybody else. And I mean, again, whenever they get to, actually I'll leave that for later, but then we see Hulk and everybody else again. I'm not a huge fan of what they did with Hulk in this one.
I'm not either.
I'm really hoping that they separate him again.
I am too. I let it slide the first time. I was like, okay, maybe Banner is, he's finally, like he says, he's finally in a position where he accepts both sides of him, but that just contradicts with his whole character arc, I think.
Yeah.
Throughout every movie. It did not feel like that's the way it should have gone. And I hope he gets separated soon, because I mean, the CGI was really good.
It was.
It's just
not what I wanted to see.
Yeah, it's just a jarring.
If Hulk isn't smashing, it's not Hulk.
Yeah,
we just got to get a nice hashtag, not my Hulk. But
exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, I liked him enough still as a character that I was fine with it.
I struggle with deciding whether I would have preferred Mark Ruffalo or Edward Norton.
I feel pretty confident that I would have preferred Ed Norton, to be honest.
Really? Yeah. I struggle because I don't think that Mark Ruffalo is Bruce Banner. Like, he's not a nerdy scientist type guy. Yeah. He's just, especially after Ragnarok and in Infinity War, he was just like super goofy, like all the time.
Yeah, and that's not the vibe that I would expect from that scientist. Like, you don't get that many PhDs and still act like that.
First Avengers, he was like that, and I just Mark Ruffalo like took it like
too goofy.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I really liked Ed Norton though in The Incredible Hulk.
I don't mind him as Bruce Banner. I don't like The Incredible Hulk. That's the
movie isn't great, but I think he portrayed him much better.
Yeah, I think he's a better Bruce Banner, better scientist type.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, Ed Norton seems like an absolute horrible person to have to deal with.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I mean, it doesn't seem great. I actually saw a video that was talking about like why he isn't the Incredible Hulk anymore, and it was going into such detail about like the years of more things coming out about how he was horrible to deal with on set and how he had, because I guess he usually rewrites a lot of his movies that he's in, and he had a bunch of rewrites, and they said no because they said they wanted more action in the movie, which obviously did cost the movie in the end, so I'm sure that didn't help whenever he said, well, I told you so.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't sound like it was good on set. But he's pretty much admitted at this point now that that's what it was.
Yeah.
That he didn't want to play ball.
Right. And like you said, it didn't turn out well, so I can't really blame him.
Yeah. I mean, he's done better things since. I mean, I liked him in, what was it? Birdman, I believe. That's a forgettable role for him, but I think he's one of my favorite parts about that movie. But I digress.
Yeah.
Back to the movie then. Where were we? We got Cat with Thor, Fat Thor. That's definitely a notable thing of the movie.
I've seen people on Twitter that didn't like it for him. I thought it was amazing. As soon as I saw Fat Thor, I was like, "Wow, that's fat. How are we gonna get him back in shape before the last battle?" But they did not. They committed to it.
I liked the stereotypical type of idea that they took with that character.
Yeah,
I found it weird a little bit, but I didn't mind it.
No, I didn't mind it at all. I lost it when he called him Lebowski. Looked exactly like...
That was so good. That was such a great joke.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that one, to me, it felt very much like kind of a callback to whenever Iron Man called Ebony Maw Squidward. It just felt like one of those perfect, like, it had to have been modeled after that just for the joke.
That's their kind of humor, though. Just, Marvel movies just call people by stupid names, and it started with Robert Downey Jr., like, and now it's, like, their brand of humor. Like, Star-Lord does it.
Yeah.
He called it Grimace in Infinity.
That was another great one. A reference that I don't think a ton of people will catch anymore, but somehow I did, yeah.
Exactly. They just call them stupid names all the time. Like, that's their brand of humor, and it works for me.
Yeah, I love it. But, and let's see. After that, we get a little more... Well, I liked, actually, now that I'm talking about Fat Thor, I liked having Valkyrie in this movie again.
I did, too.
I think she was a very important character. Just to be there again said a lot. Because I think that she can be more important going forward if we do get another Thor movie. But I expect him more with the Guardians of the Galaxy now. I hope that she hangs around, but...
I think she will. I think we'll see more of her, because Tessa Thompson seems game to, I think, change the face of the MCU. Is her big... She's been, like, meeting with Marvel. Like, she's like, we need women team-ups, and we need... women solo movies and stuff. Like, she always tweets about that, so I think she'll be around for a while.
Yeah, and there were a couple more things about her that, again, I want to get to a little bit later.
Okay.
But, let's see. Who else did we re-meet there? Well, we had a hair change from Black Widow. Shocker.
which is a dope. Like, she's got pretty bad roots, but it's a dope hairdo. I'm not. I'm not
Yeah, I mean, I think every time she's changed her hair, I've been like, yeah, I like it. I just don't know why we keep doing it. It's just getting weird how many times she's seems self-conscious about her hair.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, other than that, we got Tony and Morgan. That, I think, brought so much more to the character of Tony. 100%. I adored that.
Yeah, I adored the actress who played Morgan. She was just a scene stealer. Everything that she was in.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I Love You 3000 is something that will absolutely be on so many T-shirts.
So many T-shirts. I'm going to buy it as soon as I see one.
It'll make me emotional every time. I don't see an actual possibility of me seeing it and not getting kind of sad. But again, that's more for later. That's...
Yep.
But, I think that, and the scene of them going to see Tony, again, was interesting for the character, to say the least. Because it was clear that Tony, as Tony Stark, was obviously not going to just stand by. And of course he would work on it, because that's just the character that we know. And I really loved what they did there with his transition back with them. Yeah, I think that was great for him, and I like that for the whole gang.
Yeah,
honestly.
I really, as soon as I saw that he had a daughter, I was like, oh, he's not going to want to reverse. You know what I mean? And like that,
I was so worried.
It was a perfect obstacle, for him, and just the fact that I don't even think he expected until later that he would, not be coming back, but Morgan would still be there. I just think that it's heartbreaking.
I mean, I was worried that was going to be the dilemma was, well, he can go back in time, but he's going to lose her.
Right, yeah. That's what I assumed. I was like, oh, he's really going to give up, his, perfect life that he has now to reverse it for everybody. And that's even if that were to happen, that would have been really good finale really end for the character of where he's come from.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And then he figures that out, and then we get
he figures that out pretty quickly.
He does. Yeah, about 5 minutes of a 3-hour movie, he figures it out.
Figure out time travel. That.
Just easy in his sleep. But
yeah, it's a 3-hour movie already. They're not going to spend more time on it.
Yeah. And then we move right on into the missions pretty much shortly after that. And I think those were solid use in this movie. They were very entertaining. Yeah,
if the end battle had been a little bit longer, then it would have been my favorite moment of the movie, but those missions were my favorite moment of the movie. I loved watching the Avengers work together, and I loved going back in time and giving us a little bit of fan service, seeing Loki.
Yeah.
Going back in time, the scene with his father was phenomenal.
I think that really added to the finality of the movie, too.
Yeah, exactly. Everything about those missions, I think, is the best part of the movie for me. Like I said, time travel, they just kind of yada yada. They just don't really explain how it works a lot. But
and that was kind of a problem for me during the movie. If I'm not going to give this movie a perfect score, that is why.
Yeah.
Because the plot holes were endless, and the time travel, I am one that, other than Back to the Future, I generally say that time travel is a cop-out in movies.
Yeah. And especially this, because they were they were having trouble getting people to, I think it was Clint and Ant-Man. They were trying to get them on board with the time travel thing, and Hulk was like, no. Your future is you going into the past, so you won't mess up anything because your timeline is always like this. But then when they go back in time and talk to the Ancient One's like, no, actually this. And Hulk's like, oh. But also my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If it weren't such an awesome movie, I would be really mad about that.
and the multi-timeline thing only matters with the stones, but it doesn't matter when they're going back in time and seeing each other. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I can say certainly that I agreed with Paul Rudd whenever he said, "Oh, so it's not like Back to the Future?"
Yeah.
His shot was mine. We really shared that sentiment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it worked out for the purpose that they had for that, despite the fact that I didn't really understand what at all they meant.
Yeah. It's a lot to explain for them, and I get that they just wanted to explain it away, but it was lazy sometimes. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it felt a little lazy there, but it was too awesome of a movie for me to complain that much about it.
Right.
But so then throughout our missions that we had there, the one big thing that I am still thinking about, other than Tony talking to his dad, things like that, was the fact that Loki got that stone and disappeared.
Yep.
Are we gonna see Loki again? What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to see him in a future movie, or do you think that's going to be the transition for his show?
No, yeah, I think he disappeared into his show. I don't know if it'll be like a separate timeline or a separate universe. Probably not. But I think that's where he went.
I think that was definitely an interesting little kind of a wink at the audience.
They set up all 4 of the Disney Plus TV shows in this.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the setup was for him too. So
yeah, it was an interesting little knot. But again, if you look at their time travel rules that they established in this movie, it makes no sense how that would set up his show.
Exactly.
But honestly, it's whatever. I had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Based on their rules, that wouldn't have, like, him being there would not have changed anything, and he still would have died whenever Thanos inevitably got him. Which, again, I don't understand that.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
I want to, I'd like to sit down with, what's his name, Chris Terrio? Is that the guy who writes?
That sounds right.
I think he's one of the writers. I'd love to sit down with the writers and the Russo brothers and just have them, like, just explain it to me to see if they had like an actual like explanation, or if they were just like I don't know.
I feel like at that point they'd just say, didn't you see the ending? Didn't you because if not, we'll just play that back for you and just distract. Yeah, it's like throwing a dog a bone. Just pay attention to this instead.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't you see? Yeah, anyway, we'll get into the epic moment.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
But we had those couple epic moments throughout all of that. And just seeing the Battle of New York, I think, was really cool again. So,
coming back, I cracked up. There were a couple moments where I giggled, and then there were 2 big moments where I just lost it. And one was when Professor Hulk was like trying to smash, like picking up cars and going, and like smash things.
It was the one good joke that came of Professor Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
That and earlier in the movie whenever he's taking the picture with the kids.
The selfies, yeah.
That was good. But overall, other than that, I wasn't a fan of him.
I loved the scene, and so did my theater. Everybody was like, "Aw," when he handed when he handed Ant-Man the taco.
Yeah.
That was pretty good too.
That was another one. It was just so sweet. Just a nice little detail.
Yeah.
I'll admit that was another good one.
Yeah.
But let's see. Up next, where did we go after that?
Well, we have Battle of New York mixed with 70s SHIELD headquarters, and then
we got the Stan Lee cameo there.
Yeah,
what did you think?
Last Stan Lee cameo. I think it was worthy.
It was just another great one.
Yeah.
Because there's his work. We could do an entire show on his work for these, but that just, I'm happy about that. I honestly thought that they had said they had already had a cameo filmed for Far From Home.
Oh, really?
But now they've walked it back and said, like, this is it for him.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of upset about it, because I feel like it would have been kind of sweet to just have his send-off be a Spider-Man movie.
The best send-off for him was in Into the Spider-Verse, which is completely different franchise, completely different movie. I think that was the best send-off for him. That, and even Captain Marvel was just like really subtle and like an amazing send-off. And if they had ended it with one of those, it would have been a little more perfect than what they did in Endgame. I still think Endgame was like a really good cameo. Like, it was just really funny. But yeah, I think Into the Spider-Verse was the best send-off for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it just warms my heart every time we see him.
Yeah.
Like, just a sweet little nod to the father of all of it.
Yep.
But then we moved through all that, and I think those missions were good. I agree, those were very interesting parts of the movie. And then after that, we finally get back. I know I'm brushing over a lot. It's a 3-hour movie, though.
Yep.
But then we get back to the home base there and have the Hulk. And meanwhile, we also have Nebula in space messing things up, honestly. And that was an interesting way to bring Thanos back in. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they did a good job. It was like, as soon as we found out that Nebula had replaced, or like 2014 Nebula, like there was just like a looming dread throughout the movie.
Yeah.
All these things were going right, but you knew something had to break soon. But yeah.
And then something finally does go right whenever we get Hulk's snap, which there was a lot of snapping in this movie, but that one, and that's another plot hole of, how come the Infinity Gauntlet had to be forged from a star, but yet some star stuff can hold it.
Yeah.
That'll just be fine.
Yeah. Whatever.
That was another one that I questioned, but it's fine. The scene was still epic.
Feel out of it, though, like when they were forging it out of the star, if they hadn't made such a deal out of it, maybe it would be better, but
then it would have been just, okay, like, that makes sense. But they obviously didn't think about that. But instead we had to have some, what's his name, Tyrion Lannister there.
Yeah.
Forging it like it's Game of Thrones.
His name in the Marvel movie is Eitri, I think, right?
Yeah, I couldn't remember what his name was. That's why I just tried to make a joke. I got caught. But yeah, I think that was one that they just been a little bit more easy on it in the movie before, we would have been good.
Yeah.
And then after we get that snap, we get the little phone call. That was one scene that made me emotional, but just to see a call on the phone to show that they were back.
So they were back, and it was perfect, but it was like really short.
And then immediately it all goes to crap.
They won't let you get a break, man.
Yeah, all they want is a break.
It's just like after Natasha dies, you're recovering from that.
That's what we skipped. Oh man, the Soul Stone.
Yep.
We got to go back to that. That was a tough scene.
Yeah.
That might have been another time that I got a little bit misty-eyed just because. But it was kind of hard for me, too, because it felt like I was just getting confused about how they kept going back and forth. Like, they looked like ninjas just throwing each other back. It was getting a little too much for me there. One more switch, and I would have been mad.
Yeah, I get it. I had no idea who was going to... Like, it could have been both ways. Like, from the beginning, and then from, like, right until Natasha actually dies. It could have gone either way.
I was ready for Hawkeye to die because I made more sense because I was thinking, there's going to be a Black Widow movie. So
exactly, yeah. For both characters, it made sense. I mean, yeah, Hawkeye was ready for him. I was like, oh shoot, you're gonna like sacrifice yourself to save your family. Like that is a really great ending for you.
Yeah,
So really good ending for Black Widow, except it was really unfortunate that we couldn't see her on the front lines and in the end.
Yeah, that would have been a great...
With the original 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, yeah.
I think her character deserves that.
I think there's no other way, there was no other, like, relationship like that could have happened on Vormir. But, yeah, it was just unfortunate to see her not in the end battle.
Absolutely, yeah. And then back to the phone call again, and then the raining of absolutely anything that could possibly hit that building.
Yes.
And it was so conveniently timed right after all of like the shutters and stuff had opened again.
Yep.
It couldn't have just been a half second sooner, and they probably would have been out in a little better shape.
Yeah, I loved the editing in that scene, where it's like complete silence and then just like chaos.
yeah, that was a great shot scene, honestly.
Really, yeah.
That turned out weirdly beautiful for a really ugly mess.
Yeah.
But then, oh man, then the fighting just goes on and on and on from there. I mean, Thanos, I was shocked. They made him look so weak in the beginning whenever he just got his head chopped off.
Zone.
And then he comes back and is just destroying everything.
Yeah.
And I assume that that's explained with, well, the Infinity Gauntlet kind of weakened him after that.
Right. Exactly.
But
like Hulk is weakened too, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't need to be like throwing moons at anybody in this fight, and he was still holding his own.
Yeah.
Granted, he had a bigger army and all that stuff. But
yeah,
I mean, I liked all of that transitioning back in.
Yeah.
Getting him in again. And
nobody uses the Infinity Gauntlet as creatively as throwing a moon at somebody in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. That was cool. That was cool. I remember whenever it was just critics or not critics, but just people I think it was Comic-Con, the year that they were starting to release some footage, and that was one of the scenes that they showed with no context. And I remember seeing all the people that were there saying, like, Thanos threw a moon. Like, this purple dude, Grimace threw a moon. And I just remember thinking, like, what? Like, how did they even film a guy throwing a moon? And then I saw the scene and I was like, oh no, like, this guy just threw a moon.
It's awesome.
And I mean, that was just a wild scene. But yeah, then he gets out there wearing all of his armor that he actually needed in this one.
Right.
And that was an emotional fight for a while there, of just everybody kind of getting tossed around.
Yeah.
And man, and Captain Marvel being gone, I was excited about that, because up until then I was thinking, like, after Captain Marvel's movie, I was having one of the big issues of, well, didn't they just say that she's way more powerful than they can afford here? Like, how do they explain that?
That was the cop-out, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it worked to say that she just wasn't there. I could have used a little bit of an explanation, but because they clearly needed help. But
yeah, until, like, I think it was when Thor, Iron Man, and Cap were fighting Thanos by themselves. I think it was in that scene, my sister in the premiere turned to me and was like, "Where the heck is Captain Marvel?" You know, like she could be like kicking this guy's butt. You know what I mean? Like, where is she? And I was like, dude, I completely forgot about Captain Marvel. Like, why is she not here right now?
It would have made sense, but I'm happy with the characters that we had there.
I am too. Yeah.
I mean, those were definitely the right ones, especially for all of the fan service of this movie. That was what they needed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, man, we just see a lot, and there's so much that's going on screen.
I think the fight between Thor, Cap, and Iron Man was like really freaking cool. I was like, I want to say almost cooler than like what we get to in the end, but maybe not. But like,
it's tough.
Definitely adds like to it, because it was like, I loved the tweets that I was seeing when that shot in the trailer came out with the three of them walking towards Thanos.
Yeah. And
it was like Thor, Cap, and Iron Man, like shots from them in the first Avengers when they were fighting each other in that forest, and then like shots from Avengers 3, Avengers 4, and it's just like, I don't know, it was really cool. Like those, I consider them the three main characters in the MCU, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And like, yeah. I mean,
so,
the ones that have completed their trilogies too, and
exactly, yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, that was earth-shatteringly amazing.
Yeah, so
and
cool.
Just seeing, even whenever Cap's shield was getting destroyed, I was losing my mind.
Yep.
Because I was sitting there geeking out, like, oh, but that's vibranium. You can't do that. Exactly. And I was just losing my mind the entire time.
Was coming as soon as his shield was breaking. You knew what was coming. You knew that he was.
And then he just tightens it, gets back up, and then he gets punched in the face, which was wild. Again, the fact that that's a testament to his character, the fact that he got punched in the face by Thanos. And got back up. But whenever he gets back up, that's incredible. That is probably, I can't remember how many times I've said so far, but I think that's like the third time that I actually got emotional watching the movie. Because as soon as he has Mjolnir, I started to tear up. There was so much happiness going on that I couldn't handle it.
So much build up for it. And it just it feels like so much payoff as soon as he picks up Mjolnir and
it is
has lightning powers and stuff. It's so freaking cool.
There are so many more plot holes that I need explained there, but I didn't care because it was Cap holding Mjolnir.
I don't even think so. I think that was unless you come up with I don't know, the gripe that how is he more worthy than he was in
that's one.
Yeah.
And, where does he get the power of lightning? Is that just from the hammer? Or, because Thor has the lightning stuff without the hammer.
Right.
So but that's one of those.
Whenever Odin banishes the hammer and banishes Thor, he says, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. So, I think you get lightning and wielding the hammer.
I like that. I need that. Yes. I need that written in a contract next time. I just want to see Cap signing the terms and agreements.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to be able to get the hammer. But and that leads to the great moment later on in the even bigger fight, whenever it's Cap ends up with the axe.
Stormbreaker. Yep.
Yeah, Stormbreaker. There we go. And Thor has Mjolnir, and then Thor just says, oh no, I need the bigger one.
That was the second time I laughed way too loud.
yeah, that was such a good one. Because that's so classic to Thor.
Yeah.
But just seeing Cap swinging that hammer around and the shield was legendary.
And I love that he got to keep it, all the way till the end. He held on to it. Yeah. So cool.
It was amazing for the character, for my heart. And and then we get everybody else coming in not that long after that.
When Falcon says, on your left...
Oh my gosh, I lost it.
I wanted to stand up in my seat and just, run around the theater. I was just so excited for what was coming next. You know what I mean?
I needed to give a standing ovation. Yeah.
Oh, man, I was so excited. I was like, here we go. This is it. This is going to happen. And then, yep.
And that's such a good callback, too, for the character. Oh, my gosh, I loved it. And then you just start to see the portals opening with Doctor Strange and everybody running in.
Ravagers, Wakandans, everybody just,
And they just have an army forming through those things.
Which, how did they get them all together?
I have no idea.
Why are we asking these questions? Because we got to see it.
And you'd think, did they all just regroup wherever they were that entire time after the snap? Because it sounds like it took hours for them. So wouldn't they have all been, in really bad shape and things like that entire time? Yeah. But I don't care. It was amazing. It was beautiful. As soon as we heard Black Panther and the other Wakandans, I started losing it. It just makes me want to start yelling that walking down the hallway. Exactly. Just all the time. Before I take a test, just let one out. It's amazing. But
Black was a big reaction, and Spider-Man was the biggest reaction.
Oh my gosh, I loved it whenever Tom Holland was back.
That
was beautiful.
Would be my favorite, everybody's favorite, and it's just, I'm so glad that he got to be in the MCU for this. You know what I mean? I'm just so happy.
Yeah, how excited he gets makes me even more excited for these movies.
I know. Rewatching Homecoming, I rewatched the MCU before Endgame, and rewatching Homecoming, I was like, I think Homecoming is probably my favorite after Infinity War and Endgame, just because of Tom Holland, like how excited he is about everything.
Yeah.
He's Peter Parker.
I don't know that I'd rank it like that, but I will say he is.
No.
Because we've disagreed enough in this episode that I can officially just. It's assumed that I don't always agree, but
sure, yeah, right.
but yeah, I mean, him being back, just I love him.
Phenomenal. Yeah, he's so good.
And then it just keeps going on, and more fighting, more Stormbreaker, more Mjolnir, just lightning flying around. God, it's beautiful.
Well, we get to see that scene where everybody is rallying behind Cap, which I thought was so cool. That like,
God, I love Cap
these
so
people
much.
know who Cap is, but they rallied behind him. I was like,
because he's such a leader, and it's just it all makes sense.
Like, yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And he says the big line, and I lost.
Oh my God, that's the fourth time I teared up.
Yep, I
just
lost.
Just pure excitement. I couldn't handle everything that was going on.
I was like, it's happening!
Like, the people next to me, like, just two of my friends, I was just sitting there, like, elbowing them, like, yes.
Yeah,
oh,
and
man.
even on the rewatch, like, it's worth seeing more than once. I don't really go to theaters to see things more than once. Especially a 3-hour movie. It's a lot to sit through, but even on the rewatch, I was ready to just throw up from excitement, like in that scene. Like, I was like, let's go.
I mean, it was probably 20 to 30 minutes before that I was sitting in the theater starting to worry because I had that horrible thought of, I gotta pee. And it's a 3-hour movie, so I was like, I'm just gonna tough it out. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch, no matter what. I'm not leaving this theater.
I'm happy you made it that long too.
And
like,
I just forgot about it after a while. Like, I got so distracted by Cap, I was like, I will deal with my problems later. Like, Cap's problems are more important right now.
right.
I figured I'll just deal with it. And I made it the entire movie. I'm proud to say that. This is not what the episode was supposed to be about. But I appreciate the applause and the love that I will not be receiving from anybody after they listen to this. But that whole scene is just incredible.
Yeah, so good.
And then, I mean, it all kind of culminates then. As soon as Iron Man is back in there fighting again, I was nervous, of course, because we were getting to the point where my prediction for the movie was that it would end and the last scene was going to be everybody gathering for a funeral, and I thought it was going to be Cap's.
No way.
That was my prediction going in, was that we were going to have everybody of the MCU back. They all came back from the snap, and it was just going to be Cap's funeral, and I was going to be crying.
Yeah.
Because I kind of thought that Tony was going to be having a kid with Pepper. Yeah. I thought that she was just going to be, like, pregnant or something in this one.
Yeah, I thought so, too. I didn't expect such a big time jump for 5 years.
Yeah. But I kind of figured, like, well, they wouldn't take his character away, so they would take Cap.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like it was kind of leading toward Cap's end.
Yeah.
And like the way that they always said this movie was going to be more focused on Cap than the others, and I was like, oh, he's dead. And I just kept thinking that. I was completely mentally prepared for it. And I thought, oh, he had Mjolnir, he's gonna die. Like, nothing can be this awesome without them taking it away.
Yeah, I predicted a Thor sacrifice.
Ooh.
I predicted a Thor death because he had nobody left.
That's what made me think it was a chance.
I thought he was going to have to sacrifice himself to actually defeat Thanos once and for all. I thought Robert Downey Jr. would stick around to be a mentor for the rest of the Avengers. He seemed game for anything. And I predicted that Cap ending. I really did. Like, a couple months beforehand, I was like, there's nothing I want to see more from Cap than for him to get his dance. You know what I mean? And if it's a time travel movie and he doesn't stick behind, like, then that's not what Cap would have done. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, yeah.
It's like the perfect ending for him, and I'm so But
yeah, I mean, as soon as Tony got those stones from, like, whenever Thanos went to snap, I thought Tony's got him. Like, as soon as they got done brawling there. And then he lets out that line of just, I am Iron Man. It changed my life, honestly. Like, it changed it for the better. That was incredible.
It was like a spiritual experience.
Yeah, like, I still don't know quite how to process what I had just seen, but
yeah,
that was amazing. And then as soon as he had it, though, I thought, they're gonna drum us. And again, I was questioning why Stark stuff could be holding the Infinity Stones, but that's another issue. I wasn't as focused on it this time because it was too epic.
How did he get him from Thanos without Thanos? Yeah, it's just whatever.
And, like, did he have to hold them? Or, just things like that. Like, they didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But then that scene, whenever Peter Parker comes over to him, like, Pepper, that made me a little misty-eyed, but as soon as Peter went over, I just felt tears rolling, and I was like, I can't do this.
I initially didn't think that they deserved that relationship. You know, they hadn't been together very long, but I remembered Parker's origin story, where he doesn't have a dad. He lost his dad real young, and then he lost Uncle Ben to what was his fault, and then he just lost another father figure, and I was like, okay, that is extremely well deserved. Like,
I was like, this is hard. Like, Tom Holland I would cry already if he were going through something like this, but the second that you put it with another character that I love, I can't do it.
Exactly, and you don't get relief because, like, you have in Infinity War, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Oh my god.
They finally get together again, and he gives him a hug, like, and it's a great callback to Homecoming, where Peter thinks that he's trying to hug him, but he's really just trying to open the door for him.
Yeah.
And when Tony actually gives him a hug when he sees him again, like, it's just heart-wrenching.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that just, God, what an ending there. And then it gets even more emotional because I have always had a thing where I don't cry so much whenever I see something sad happen. I cry whenever I see other characters reacting to it.
Yeah.
Like, that, the most pathetic time for me was it was actually from The Walking Dead, where a character that I couldn't care less about died, and then the main character was just messed up by it, and I sat there and just started bawling because I felt bad for him.
Yeah. Was this season 3, Lori?
Yeah, that was
okay.
I didn't care about Lori at all.
I haven't watched since season 4, so
it's
I do remember that season.
Believe it or not, it's actually getting better.
Yeah, good.
Like, it went downhill big time, but now it's worth watching again.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, as soon as, like, Rick walked out and was just messed up after that, that was what got me. And then that theme has kind of held true for most movies, TV shows, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But then this one, as soon as we saw the funeral and everybody was upset, and even I didn't realize it until after the movie, but then even the fact that kid that he helped out in Iron Man 3, like, that was so sweet.
Yeah.
Just to have him there.
Yeah, I think it was cool of, you know, Pepper or Happy to, like, invite him to the funeral.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I think it was cool that he was there. I just didn't know that he had, like, such a profound impact on Tony.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either.
But I guess so. I mean, after the movie, after Iron Man 3, I guess you could make the argument for that. But
yeah. I mean, that just, oh, what a scene there. And especially after that, whenever it's, I can't remember which comes first, whether it was the Tony talking to Morgan, or if it was just Morgan and Happy sitting on the porch swing.
Yeah, it was.
But that porch swing, that one got me too.
That was a wreck.
It hurt so bad.
So good. I mean, from the time Sam says "on your left" till the end, it's just like a steady stream of tears at this point.
Of excitement and sadness and a little more of both.
I was sitting there, you know, like, I still had tears in my eyes, but they weren't flowing. But then something bad would happen, and then they start flowing, and then and then something bad would happen, and they start flowing again. Yeah.
I really held it together there. I think right up until Cap had Mjolnir, and then I just had one going down my cheek, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just gonna get a whole lot worse before it gets better.
Yeah. But yeah, the cheeseburger scene, the cheese boogers.
Yeah.
So good.
And then seeing Tony and the I Love You 3000 again makes me want to put my fist through a wall out of sadness, but...
Oh, man.
But, man. And then I thought, okay, we're all done with being sad. Cap is going to be around to lead the rest of them. The Avengers will continue. And then, and then he's the one going back. And it just, as soon as they said he was going back, I thought, he's not coming back.
Yep.
I thought, this is about to make me hate everything about this movie because of how much I love it. Like, it was going to be a perfect, like, The Office of just, I want them to be afraid of how much they love me. Like, it just, except I was afraid of how much I loved this movie because of what they were about to do to me. And they did it. And as soon as he was going back in time, it hit me again. I had forgotten the entire movie about him promising that dance. And then as soon as he didn't come back, I thought, oh no. Like, that. As soon as it started playing out in my head of that being what he did, like, that made me even more emotional.
Yeah.
Because I loved them so much.
Yep.
And then it just,
Yeah,
they just wouldn't let me come up for air.
It's a perfect ending for him.
It was.
It's weird that he kissed his niece, but...
Yeah.
In the past.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them knew, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird when you think about it, but you just live in that moment and it's fine.
Yeah. It's all good. It's fine. Star Wars stuff, but
exactly.
But that ending was so incredible.
Yeah, I think Thor. Even everybody's wrapped up really well. Everyone's given perfect endings. Thor going to the Guardians is the
it
most
makes
logical.
Sense too. Yeah. If I could get Taika Waititi working with James Gunn on Guardians, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fantastic end to a fantastic movie that I still need to review. Hopefully I'll get that out.
So much to say about it. And if we're talking from like a critical perspective, touching on like the themes of like grief and like what we do when our loved ones are gone, you know what I mean? Like that whole dark stuff at the beginning was phenomenal. Some of the best like real life stuff I've seen out of a Marvel movie.
It dealt very well with those aspects of each character, yeah.
And that first hour before we actually get into time travel, it was just like, this is really good real life stuff, even though it's like super sci-fi, super like but
such a wild premise, but yet it all still came through so well.
Yeah.
And just a fantastic ending. Oh man. It hurt, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. It was perfect.
And now I wonder what will come next, other than Far From Home. Hopefully that'll be great. I think it will.
Reports that we're going to get, I don't know if you remember, right before Ant-Man came out, they did a press conference and announced all their Phase 3 movies. Yeah. Announced all their...
The Inhumans was one that was coming, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see that. I mean, I don't know.
That they're doing it after Far From Home releases on DVD or on home media. I that's the report that I heard. So like October-ish, September, October.
That could be cool. That'd be a new thing.
Yeah, they have like 8 release dates planned out. They have Marvel TV shows coming in 2020.
That'll be huge in 2020. Yeah, I mean, there's too much money to be made to get a break here.
Every character is set up. Like Wanda talking about Vision being gone. Their TV show on Disney Plus is speculated to be about her trying to find a way to like rebuild him.
Which is neat.
Yeah, which would be cool. There's the Captain America White Wolf TV show coming out.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for that.
And Bucky.
I disagree with the choice. I think it should have been Bucky. But I get why other people would have been like, hey, Cap, that's not a good idea.
I 100%, when he said, how's it feel? And Sam was like it belongs to someone else. I thought he was going to give it to Bucky.
So did I. Yeah.
I'm sure that's like what was going to happen.
Me too.
Fine with it being Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, it'll do. I've never felt as good about that character. Like, sure. I got really attached to Bucky because Cap was so attached to Bucky.
Right.
Sam, I just never felt.
Sam doesn't have much of a backstory either. Like, he's not really fleshed out, but maybe he will be.
Hopefully that's what we'll get more of. Now that we're all done wrapping up every single note that we can possibly fit into this already pretty not quite as long as Endgame, but
right.
but we're on our way type of episode. I just want to thank you so much for coming on and talking it out with me, talking about all of your incredible amount of reviews that you've had, and just sharing with us a couple of funnier and interesting recent reviews that you've had. Thank you so much for coming on, Jaron. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'd love to be back on if you'll have me.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but yeah, it was really fun.
We'll be sure to get you back on before long, and thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks again to Jaron Lamer for coming on the show. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time on the Movie Take Podcast.